guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, CokiCreative. My name is Elena, and today we're doing another speed build. I know it's been a while since I've released one of these, but I just make speed builds whenever I feel like it, so that's just how it is. Anyway, I just want to quickly just say something. Anyone who can release YouTube videos regularly, like, just quick hats off to you. Like, it takes some effort to do that, so good for you. Anyway, let's get to this build. It is a starter home, so it costs 16,827 simoleons. It is on a 20 by 15 lot in Newcrest, the two that are side by side. It has 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, and I only used Eco, Lifestyle, and Nifty Knitting. It's also a tiny house, so I think it's a tier 3. If you can read the little blue bar on top, it will tell you how many tiles it has. It's way too small. I can't really see it, and I wish I could remember how many tiles it has. But fun fact, since I only wanted to use Eco, Lifestyle, and Nifty Knitting, I still wanted to have it be in the gallery as a tiny home. You can upload it as a tiny house residence and it will not count as using tiny living. So anyone that does not have the tiny living pack will not be deterred from downloading this build because it will not show up that they use tiny living. But if you do have the tiny living pack and you download this build, you will get all the gameplay benefits that a tiny house has. So if you ever want to build a tiny house, but you want it to be base game, you can totally do that. So, just some fun facts there for you. So when I first started this house, I really wanted to give it more of like a kind of granny look, I guess. That quickly changed. I was kind of going for a style similar to the house right next to it, which is a house that I built well over a year, maybe 2 years ago. Also, please ignore the squeaky train. I'm sorry, I live next to 2 trains. Anyway, I am creating a save file, just a little FYI. And so when I was creating this, I really wanted to make this part of Newcrest very similar looking houses. So that's why I wanted this house to be kind of similar, but not exactly the same as the house next to it. I ended up changing it quite a bit, just kind of like the style and the overall feel of it, but I wanted the overall shape of it to be the same, almost like this is what the house originally looked like, and then whoever moved in was the one that kind of gave it a little bit of a modern facelift. So the best way I can describe the look of this house is kind of like a modern suburban. And when I say modern very lightly, because it's not really modern, you'll see what I mean when we get inside. This is kind of where I decided to take like a bit of a turn with the style. This is the concrete that comes with, when you put a foundation down, it gives you that free flooring, and that flooring comes in a whole bunch of different swatches. I'm using it in the bathroom as well. The room was glitching, so here I fix it by copying the room, placing that room back down, and that seemed to fix it. So if you ever come across any kind of glitching room like that, just copy the room and sometimes it fixes it. Anyway, I wanted the rooms to kind of have a cohesive color theme, but I just overall wanted this house to be a bit like pops of color. It's mostly blue except for like the random orange bathroom, but I thought that'd be kind of fun. The exterior, I went with a teal and gray, which I didn't want it to be gray because the house next to it's like this blue and I want it to be a lot different, but the teal I think is enough to make it pop against the gray house next to it. So I was pretty happy with what they look side by side for like the save file purposes. And when I'm decorating, I use a ton of Eco, Lifestyle, and Nifty Knitting, and those 2 packs are great for starter homes because they come with some really cheap items that look really cute and very homemade looking too. Because for this house, since it is a starter home, I wanted to be like a proper starter home. Like I imagined, I haven't made a sim for this, but I imagined, you can see her right there. I imagined her, she just graduated from university, or maybe she just aged up from a teen. You don't have to go to college if you don't want to. Your own life, your own path. So she just graduated and now she wants to move into something that's affordable. And so this is the affordable house. She's kind of cool. She's like got her own style. So maybe she's the one that did this. But I didn't want anything to look really expensive either, because she's kind of crafty. And so maybe she did a lot of these upgrades herself. So yeah. Also, if you want to know how to do the flooring like that, you do Shift F. I could be wrong. It could be Control F. I'm sorry. I'll put it in the description box below. I usually just do it out of like muscle memory, so it's hard to say things out loud. Like a lot of cheats I just type in from muscle memory. But yeah, it's a great trick if you do want to, if you're like bored of what the game is offering and you kind of want to switch up your flooring. That's just a great trick. I do it all the time, and I don't like to build with custom content that often just because I like to upload for the gallery. So I find myself trying to do these little tricks here and there just to make my builds as customizable as possible, but without actually having to add custom content. And let's move on. This is my cluttery kitchen. Because I was on such a limited budget, I wanted to still add as much clutter throughout this house as I could. And so I went through the debug menu and found all the realistic clutter that I could find that would be like in a kitchen, in a bedroom, in a living room. And I kind of rolled with that. These curtains were really cheap, really affordable. And then I used some of these debug, I think it's fencing, yeah, from Eco Lifestyle as the baseboard. And as you can see, my sim is in the house. I do play test usually after I build, but I was doing some really funky things when I was doing this house. So I was like, I better just get that out of the way before I have to change everything. Because there's nothing worse than finishing a build and then realizing that, you know, half of it doesn't work. And so you're going to have to rearrange the whole thing, which has happened to me before. I do end up changing this painting out because guess what? They couldn't get around the bed, because I do like to make sure that if there is a double bed in a room, that Sims can get to both sides. So this house is set for 3 Sims easily. Like 3 Sims could easily live here. You can start a family here. You could even add on to this house. You could grow old in this house. My builds are meant to last. I'm just kidding. But actually, no, I'm not. I really want people to play my builds. Like that means more to me than anything. Like when people leave a comment on my Instagram saying like, oh, I download this and I've been playing it with my family. Like that means a lot. The thing is, when you want to play, sometimes you're not in the mood to build something. And you're just like, I just want to get the game ready. And I have downloaded builds from the gallery before because I'm like, I just need to get this going. So a lot of my builds that I've used, built, I use now in my real life, like in my games. And the reason why I'm doing this save file also is because I want my own save file with all my builds for whenever I start a new game, because I'm so sick of seeing the same jazz club, the same gym, and the land grabs. And I mean, they're fine, but I want to give everyone like a good makeover. I want to add all my new Sims, because I have a lot of like connections I want to make with, you know, Sims and families and stuff and connections and things like that. So expect that within the year. It's probably going to take a while to finish that, since there are a lot of lots. I planned out in my journal here, not my journal, my Sims build folder, or whatever it's called. It's just, there are a lot of lots, and I did not realize. The only thing I'm not going to change is Journey to Batu, because I just don't feel like that needs to be changed. If you want to go to Batu and do that, go right ahead. I'm not going to change any of that. Anyway, let's get to the end part of this build. This is kind of where when I do starter homes, first thing I do is all the major things, the things that I know your Sims need. And then from there, I add whatever I can do left, whatever money I have left. I want to make sure you have at least like 2,000, 3,000 simoleons, so that way you're not like, you can't pay your bills. So this is now to the point where I'm like, okay, let's decorate. Let's see what else I can add. Big fan of the tool mod, by the way. If you have a computer and you can get mods and you're afraid to use it, if it's intimidating, I totally get it. It's very intimidating at first, but you get the hang of it so fast. You can customize the shape of thing, well, not the shape, but the size, and that's rugs. It is a game changer for rugs. Because if you have a circle rug and sometimes you want it to be like right in the middle when you size it up and down, it has saved my life. It has saved so many of my builds before. If you want to scale things up and down, obviously the rotation thing is probably one of my favorite things, but I probably use the scaling things up and down the most, even though you can use the 9 key and the 0 key, but it's a little bit more customizable, especially with also scaling things. But pretty much my point here is, if you are intimidated to get the tool mod, just give it a try. Just start out small too. Don't go like, I'm going to be building a Ferris wheel. Like that's what I wanted to do. I was like totally ready to just be like, I got the tool mod. All right, let's see what kind of madness we can create. I was like, no. Once I realized that there were dimensions and like the keys I had to type in, I was like, all right, let's start out slow because I have no idea what I'm doing. Start slow and then it gets easier. Obviously, I'm still not a master at the tool mod, but I'm definitely a lot better than I was when I first started, which was over a year ago. Crazy. Time's flying by so fast. Here I am in the bedroom now. I wanted to clutter it up still a little bit more. This is kind of like the closet area. And as you can see, I'm like moving around the house a lot because this is, like I said, at the end of my starter home where I'm like, okay, I have a little bit of money left. Let's see where I can put this money. And this is, this entrance way, it looks cool, but I have some issues with it. I wish it could have turned out ever so slightly different. Maybe it's a little bit of a perfectionist behavior, I don't know, but there's just like, I wanted it to kind of look like stairs, like man-made stairs, but the way I did the terrain kind of messed it up. I almost flattened the lot again to like fix it, but it didn't work when I flattened the lot. I don't want to talk about it. It was very traumatic for me. But I also use these debug fencing really low. I wanted something that really showed off the house still, but something that's still kind of framed around the entire exterior. And I made a little garden in the back because if you're just starting out and you're playing the game like I like to play without money cheats, unless if I'm building, money cheats all the way. I do 9999999 like all the way. And you were trying to make money fast. I gave an easel for some of that art money and some of that garden money. I wish that's how it worked in real life. You could just be like, yo, I just learned how to paint a little bit, selling that stuff for $1,000. It does not work like that in real life unless if you're very talented, which I am not. I tried painting. Yeah, it's not for me. I mean, I enjoy it, but I like to consider sim builds my art. I'll tell you that. But this is the entrance that I'm talking about. Tried making it look a little bit like stairs. It didn't quite turn out the way I wanted it to, just because the spacing is off a little bit with the tile and then the terrain paint. But you know what? I'm still proud of myself, okay? I can't, I'm probably the only one that's sitting there and thinking, oh man, I wish that was just slightly closer. And it was to the point where I was working on this build I cut a lot out, guys, because I was trying a lot of things. I cut a lot out. I was ready to finish this build up. I was ready for it to be done. And it was done. And I was really proud of it. And also, as I'm finishing up this speed build, last little tip for doing a starter home is debug. I know that some people probably don't like using debug. It is not a mod, it is not CC, it's not any of that. It is a cheat. You can use it on PlayStation, you can use it on Xbox, you can on PC, anything. It's just a cheat. And you can search things, you can Google how to use it, but most of the things are free. So all this landscaping that I'm putting down is essentially free. So that's how you can make starter homes look a lot more charming from the exterior. And it is such an easy way to just make your starter homes look that much better. And I mean, if you're against cheating, then that's fine, but I don't really consider that cheating. Anyway, enjoy these screenshots. We're done now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment, maybe like this video. If you really, really like this video, maybe subscribe. But anyway, I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.